So at San Diego Comic-Con this year, Kevin Feige revealed that not only would the Russo Brothers be returning to direct Avengers 5, now dubbed Doomsday, as well as Secret Wars, but also that Robert Downey Jr. himself would be making his grand return to the MCU, but in a completely different role. That role specifically being the new big bad of the MCU, Doctor Doom. But is this casting choice a controversial move, and will it put Marvel back on top? Let's talk about it. Now, my initial reaction to this news was pretty good. I mean, I did hear rumours of RDJ coming back, as I'm sure all of you did, but I thought it would have been as an Iron Man variant during Secret Wars, so seeing him announced as Doctor Doom was pretty good, and if Marvel wants to break the internet, then this is how you do it. While I would have preferred someone like Mads Mikkelsen or Cillian Murphy playing Victor in the MCU, this does seem like a doppelganger situation where there are different characters throughout the multiverse who are played by the same actors, and this definitely seems to be the case here. Now, as with everyone else, I do have some concerns with this choice to bring in Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, with my first being, are they wasting Doom as a character? Now, whilst I am in no way doubting Robert's acting ability, seeing as he carried the MCU for over 10 years and definitely deserved that Oscar win for Oppenheimer, I'm worried that bringing him in as Doom will waste Victor as a character. Doctor Doom in the comics is meant to be this democratic tyrant who has access to all kinds of magic and sorcery, and again, while I'm excited to see what the Russos and RDJ do with the character, I'm just worried about this not doing justice to the character of Doom, especially if they go the comic route and have him become the Beyonder like in the 2015 Secret Wars. I think that's what happens. More of a question I also have about Doom in this instance is why cast Robert? Why not have him cast as an Iron Man variant of some kind instead of casting him as Doctor Doom? I think that might be for a story reason, but at this point I am currently unconvinced that Robert as Doom will be a great idea. I'm still going to watch the movie out of pure curiosity, but at the moment I am still on the fence about the casting. Another concern I do want to quickly throw in is whitewashing Doom as a character. Now, Doom, in the comics, is actually a Romani character, as is the case with other Marvel characters like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, who in the films were depicted as being from an Eastern European country, but were played by non-Romani actors, at least to my knowledge. I know there's a whole thing with Elizabeth Olsen. So this issue could crop up with RDJ playing Doom. Now, the next question I have about this is whether or not Doom in this movie is in fact not Victor Von Doom, but could be a variant of Tony Stark. Now, whilst this idea would be a great way to flip the character of Iron Man on his head, I don't think that's a good idea. First of all, Tony Stark is one of the pillars of the MCU, and seeing him become a villain could negate a lot of fans from the franchise. Secondly, I think if it was something along these lines, then it would likely waste the character of Victor Von Doom, because Marvel wants to lean so much into the multiverse that they will make one of the most popular and most powerful characters a variant of Iron Man. Now, I'm hoping that Kevin Feige and the Russos have enough common sense to not do something like this. I just think that making Doom an Iron Man variant would waste him as a character, and I'm sure a lot of people might feel the same way. But to take a pivot away from the negative for the moment, how could Doom looking like Iron Man be explained? One idea I've been working on personally is that this variant of Doctor Doom comes from Earth 838 that we saw in Doctor Strange 2, where after the death of the Illuminati he managed to overpower the heroes and take over. In doing so, he successfully launched an invasion on the rest of America, and perhaps killed Tony Stark in this universe, and maybe through some crafty spells and magic, managed to take over his body whilst retaining not only his own powers but also gain Tony's intelligence, which could explain why this variant of Doom will look like Tony Stark as opposed to someone like Cillian Murphy or Mads Mikkelsen. Now, here's the next idea I've seen that this variant of Doom could be from the same universe as our new Fantastic Four, which for context is set in a retro-futuristic universe reminiscent of the 1960s. This seems very likely in my mind, but would Doom appear? I don't think so. While I'm not opposed to Doom himself appearing in some kind of post-credit scene, I think the spotlight instead should go to Galactus and the Fantastic Four themselves, because this is a new take we're meant to be getting on them, and the spotlight I feel should be focused on them as opposed to Doom. Now, another question that is being raised is how Marvel plans to transition from having Kang as the big bad to Doctor Doom. For some context, the original plan was to have Kang the Conqueror and his variants be the main villain of the multiverse saga leading into Secret Wars, with Kang himself being a prominent figure in Loki and Ant-Man 3, but these plans fell apart in the wake of Jonathan Majors' court case and the critical reception of Ant-Man 3 not being too favourable. So how will this transition occur? Well, I think an idea would be to have Doom killing the Council of Kangs himself on screen or on his own. I think this will be a good idea because it will show that Doom is much more powerful than the intended villain of the saga. Plus it can tie off that plot thread with the Council of Kangs because you know people are going to be asking about that, just like how they're going to be asking about the other 100 or so plot threads that we still have from the MCU at the moment. But in conclusion, I am at the very least sceptical about seeing Robert take on this role. Whilst his time in the MCU and his work since then will very much speak for itself, I'm still on the fence because of Marvel's track record as of late, with the exceptions of Deadpool and Guardians 3. And those are my thoughts and theories on RDJ's return to the MCU as Doctor Doom instead of Tony Stark. If you did enjoy this video, then be sure to drop a like, leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.